Welcome. So in today's video, 3 signs that your divine masculine is awakening. And we're also going to talk about, is that a thing? Is that true? Do they awaken? So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about what it means if that is true and what it means if that is not true. And I'm also going to talk about what twin flames are. So we've got all kinds of fun stuff in store for you today. So here are the signs. I'm going to list them off one by one very quickly, and then we'll come back around and revisit them and talk about all of the other fun things in today's video. Sign number 1, you, not your divine masculine, but you are awakening spiritually. You are, right? So that's sign number 1. Sign number 2, you have not given your divine masculine a thought in a long time. They haven't really crossed your mind. You're not really worried about them. It just doesn't seem to bother you anymore. You're kind of over it, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, there's this knowing. It's this intuition. Like, I think they're going to come back soon, right? Or I know that we're twin flames. I just know it. And it's not mental. You don't understand. It's not thought. It's not concept. It's spiritual. It's this knowing, right? It's like it's deja vu kind of thing or something. It's this weird knowing, like, yeah, I know that they're going to come back. How do I know that, right? Like that, right? So those are the 3 signs. And, those things are happening to you. Whether or not divine masculine awakens spiritually, we're going to talk about that. But I just want to say it doesn't really matter as long as they come back, right? As long as they stop running from you. Because let's just cut to the chase and be honest about this. That's really what you want. You just want them to be with you, right? It's just when you look on the internet about twin flames, one of the popular questions that people ask is, do they awaken? Well, why are we asking that question? Well, it's because people think that has to happen before he'll or she, your twin flame, they'll come back, right? That's what people think. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not. We're going to talk about that in today's video. Now, I've listed the signs. We're going to come back and revisit that. Let's just do a quick setup first. And I'm going to explain to you what twin flames are. So when you look around, and again, the reason I think we should explain what twin flames are first is because when you understand that, then if they awaken and what the signs are and why these are the real signs, it'll make sense to you, right? So we're going to do that first, and then we'll come back to that other stuff. So here's the thing, guys. The one thing that everybody agrees on when it comes to twin flames, and I mean bar none, everybody, and I mean everyone who is talking about twin flames, what do they all say about twin flames? They say it's the same soul. That's what everybody says, right? Now, interesting side note, everybody says twin flames are the same soul, but then everybody has different advice to give you about what to do. How can that be? Think about it. If we are all in agreement about what twin flames are, what's the problem? Why does everybody give you different advice about what to do? So everybody's got the same description, but a different prescription, right? A prescription, like here's what you should do, right? Same description, different prescription. Well, don't you think that's kind of strange? Well, yeah, I do too. And I'm going to help you dispel the confusion today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kurt. I am the world's #1 twin flame coach. I've personally coached over 7,000 twin flame students to date, and I've overseen thousands of twin flames coming together, or what you call union, and that's part of the problem, is the way people are using those words. Now, let's talk about something that everybody knows about. So, how is it that we are the same soul? How does that work? Well, we got to talk about that in order for these signs to make sense to you. So, reincarnation is widely accepted, right? And this particular book, by the way, that I'm showing you, this is out of print, but I found it in a used bookstore. This book is talking about, here's all this stuff in the Bible that still points to reincarnation, although there's a whole bunch of other stuff that was taken out of the Bible at the Council of Nicaea and in other places too. And I think in our modern world, most people are beginning to realize that, yeah, the Bible has been fiddled with. It's, people have taken stuff out and changed things around and so on. And reincarnation is one of those things. Nevertheless, there are other ancient texts like the Bhagavad Gita and Yamaism, and there's Hinduism. There's all these other different religions, and so many of the world's religions do accept that there is reincarnation. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that you guys watching probably recognize that reincarnation is a real thing. I mean, after all, you're watching a video about twin flames. Stands to reason. It stands to reason. So I don't think I have to convince you about that. Okay, so this diagram here is showing you one of the ways that that works. And then I'm going to get into another way that that works. And you're about to find out also why your twin flame is running from you. Why they run, why that happens. We're going to talk about that. And the thing that I do that's a lot different is I approach this scientifically because, a long time ago I said, hey man, if twin flames are real, how does it work? There's got to be an explanation. It's not just fucking magic. There's no such thing as magic. Magic is just science undiscovered. That's all it is. It's just something we haven't explained yet, right? Like telepathy, they're starting to be able to explain it, or how consciousness is beyond the body and the mind, and how it is that you can have a thing like intuitive visions and astral projection and these kinds of things. Well, science is actually starting to explain some of this stuff. They're just not telling you that on TV. There's a lot of scientists that talk about this stuff, like the Center for Noetic Studies and the University of Virginia. They look at this kind of stuff like the power of prayer, and they're actually able to validate that, yeah, prayer does actually have a measurable effect. Isn't that interesting? So no, we don't have to believe that twin flames is made up, and it absolutely isn't. We already know about reincarnation. We already know that. We know that the soul comes down here and incarnates into a physical body. We know that. That's old news, right? And that's what I'm telling you, is this is just simultaneous incarnations of the same soul, twin flames. That's all this is, guys. We know about that, right? There absolutely already is an explanation. And if you ask me, twin flames proves reincarnation. Twin flames is helping to actually validate that reincarnation is real. Now, this big circle, this is your higher self. This is the oversoul in heaven, right? Which is the afterlife. It's really the before life, right? But same difference, really. It exists in the energy part of the universe, right? So it's these higher wavelengths that are beyond light. And again, scientists are just now starting to validate that these higher planes do exist. Most of them are not going to call it heaven, mind you, but they are uncovering that there does appear to be a field of something in the emptiness of space. It's not quite empty. There's something there. That's what they're proving. And they're getting closer and closer and closer. They're knocking on heaven's door. Just like the song, right? They're literally knocking on heaven's door. at CERN, CERN, CERN. And so CERN, they are in charge of the Large Hadron Super Collider in France, and I think it's France and Sweden, Switzerland, Sweden. It starts with an S. Most of it is in France, but it's so big that it goes between two countries. Sweden. Anyway, you can look it up. I know I'm getting my geography mixed up in my head, so apologies for that. But yes, the Large Hadron Super Collider. Well, anyway, so this is a real thing, guys. Yes, there is a place that you go to when you die, and it's more like you transform back into that state. It's not really a place that you go to, it's that you leave your body and go back to your original state, which is a wave. The soul is a wave. It's 99% consciousness and 1% information, and it's a big cloud. It's a big wave of probabilities. Any of you that are a fan of science, you may have heard of a thing called the double slit experiment. And so you kind of know where I'm going with this. So that's the soul, that's the higher self. Now, from that higher plane, time has no real meaning. Time is everything is all happening at once, right? Past and future are happening simultaneously, right? Albert Einstein said that's how time works. So past, present, and future are an illusion. We think in linear time, but that's not how the universe really works. And he explained that over and over and over again, right? And it's true, from these higher planes of existence, you have a higher relative perspective. So all of these incarnations of your soul, so here's your past life in the year 1770, here's your past life in the year 1880, here's you and your twin flame, and this is a future reincarnation. So all of these are all happening all at the same time from the perspective of your higher self, which is this wave form. It's the soul in heaven, right? On these higher planes. And again, this functionality, like that, this is how reincarnation works. This isn't debated by spiritual teachers. Everybody knows this is how this works. Like if you read about it. And this is why you can have past life regression. You can have future life progression. You can type that in to the YouTube search box and just type in future life progression. And you can have people that can see into the future, right? Because all they're doing is accessing all of the information that's in this higher plane. And the information that's in this higher plane is just being drawn from down here up into here. So reincarnation is kind of like a time machine, you could say, because you could actually reincarnate into the past. So the next time you reincarnate, so you're here, it's 2024 now, as you're watching this video, right? So me, I was born, let's just say in 1975. Well, I could go back in my next life when I reincarnate and be born in the year 1900 if I wanted to. You could do that. Okay, or I could go way into the future, right? So, and it just depends on what my soul is up to, what the soul's kind of purpose is, right? Whether or not you're going to do that. So often when we think of reincarnation, usually what people are thinking of is it works in linear time, right? Like this person here that was born in 1643, they had to do the thing that we call die, and then when they reincarnated, it was in a year that came after their death. And then so this person died, we'll just say they were born in 1776, and then they died in 1850, right? And then they were reincarnated in 1870. And so this is what people think. I think often people think that it works this way, but it doesn't have to. And nobody ever said that it did. The only thing that we do know about reincarnation is that with each life lived, your consciousness keeps increasing. It keeps expanding. You keep evolving. That is what everybody agrees on. when it comes to reincarnation, which is that consciousness is always increasing and expanding with each life lived. But again, time is not linear, guys. That's not how time works. That's not how time works. And again, this model of reincarnation, which is ancient, it's thousands of years old, that is exactly what spiritual teachers have been saying the whole time. And then, son of a gun, in the 20th century, Albert Einstein actually proved that, yeah, that is how time works. And all the spiritual teachers looked at that and they were like, well, that's cool that you figured that out, but we've already been saying that for like 6,000 years, dude. Right? It's about time you figured it out. Welcome to the party, right? So you don't have to reincarnate in linear order, right? So this person here, we're going to say was born in 1988. And then the next time that you reincarnate, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go back to 1643. You can do that, guys. You can do that. And again, consciousness growing and expanding is what is linear. So you're going from a lesser consciousness to a greater consciousness. That's why I have the positive and the negative every single time you reincarnate. Now, watch this. Now, this is the first thing that I ever realized about twin flames. So the whole push-pull, you know how they run, your twin flame, how they're running from you? And you're like, why are they doing that? And everybody on the internet is going, it's because you need to do some healing. Okay, so let's just pause here and talk about that for a second. Your twin flame is your soul. Everybody agrees. But then they're telling you to do psychology to fix it. And if you learn about the Zen traditions, so your twin flame is your soul, right? And the internet is telling you to do mind stuff, but mind stuff is what makes them run. I'll come back to that in a second. I'm telling you to do soul stuff. What's soul stuff? Remembering that you are consciousness, you are not the mind, right? The name of the first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, is called You Are Not Your Mind, You Are Consciousness. There's thoughts and feelings going on, right? And then you go, why am I thinking this? Why do I feel that? Right? Right. Who's asking? Who's asking? How is it that you are aware of thought? How is it that you are aware of thought? Rupert Spira said, can a thought get angry? Can a thought listen to this conversation? No. Thought is the object of consciousness. That's the soul, guys. That's your twin flame. Your twin flame is your soul, right? And you're like, oh shit, okay, tell me more. Yeah, I will tell you more. This is going to be a long video. Your twin flame is your soul, guys. That's how I've been able to help so many people, because I'm not reinventing the wheel. You are body, mind, soul. Well, how do those things work? How do those things work? Right, so the mind is thought, emotion, telepathy, metaphysical energy, right? And it works on duality. That's how it functions. It's called duality. Yin, yang, light, dark, good, bad, past, future, here, there, plus, minus, good, bad, right? In science, they have a word for it too. They call it relativity. And then this is the oneness. I feel at one with everything, right? And I represent it with a little tiny dot. And in science, they kind of do the same thing. They call it a singularity. It's the complete breakdown of duality. So it's not dual, it's singularity, right? And in the Zen teachings, they call it non-duality teachings. You are consciousness. Consciousness is non-duality. Like again, if you go to Rupert Spira, if you go to his website, he's got a video course that you can take about non-duality teachings. That's the soul. That's consciousness, guys. And that's not debated. It's not debated by the recognized spiritual masters. Buddha, Jesus, Hare Krishna, Paramahansa Yogananda, Ram Dass, Eckhart Tolle, Rupert Spira, Michael Singer, right? Krishnamurti, what's the guy's name? I don't know. There's a bunch. You get what I'm saying. So the recognized spiritual masters, they know about all this stuff, right? So this isn't debated by the recognized spiritual masters. People on YouTube might be debating it, right? Some new ager or something, they might be telling you, you got to do healing, but healing does not cause self-actualization, guys. Like who are you beyond the body? And you're going, well, I'm a soul. Right, but what is that? Because healing is fine. Healing is no problem. You can do that. That's just not what this is, guys. Because healing is psychology. Healing is working with the thoughts, working with them, moving thoughts around, saying no to some of them and creating new thought patterns. That's healing, and that's psychology, and that's fine. But that's not your soul, guys, and you don't think your way into your soul. Your soul, the step one of transcendentalism is you are not your mind. You are not the ego. You are not your mind. Where's that bumper sticker I'm always showing you guys? It's so well known, they even put it on a bumper sticker, you guys. This isn't debated, what I'm telling you. Nobody debates this except for maybe the spiritual hipsters on the internet. They're going to tell you, you got to do healing. Yeah, self-actualization. Healing does not cause self-actualization. You are already consciousness. You don't think your way there, right? And so that's why, like all of my twin flame coaching students, I tell them, read The Power of Now. That's like step one, right? You want to get your soul back? I mean, your twin flame back? Read The Power of Now. That's how you get that back. Now, the mind, on the other hand, is thought and energy and metaphysics and chakras, and it is duality. And the first thing I ever noticed about twin flames is that there is this polarization at the mental level. So the mind, again, is thoughts, emotions, telepathic energy, chakras, right? That kind of stuff. That's the mind. Body, mind, soul. Okay. So when your twin flame is running, it's because you are coming from the mind. You believe you are the mind. That's the human condition. Everybody on earth, this is the problem with humans. This is why humans are all fucked up, right? Everybody believes they are this ego, this personality, this collection of memories and thoughts and emotions. That's where everybody derives their sense of self from, right? I'm a mom, I'm a brother, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a truck driver, I'm a accountant, I'm a tattoo artist, I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative, I'm college educated, I'm not college educated, I've traveled the world, I haven't traveled the world, I've done these things, I've been to these places, these are my experiences, these are my friends, this is what I do for a living, this is how I grew up, you know, that's who I am. That's what me is, right? The self, like who are you beyond the body and the mind? But that's all mental stuff. And I'm asking you, who are you beyond the body and the mind? Well, you are the awareness of thinking. There's awareness. What is consciousness? What is that? And the only answer that makes sense is me, right? That's me. I am consciousness, right? Right. You are a soul, guys. That's your twin flame. Now, the mind believes that it is separate from everything. It perceives itself as separate. Rupert Spira calls it the separate self. Eckhart Tolle talks about this all the time. He says, yeah, the ego is separation. And you're going, wait a minute. People in the so-called twin flame community, we are all using that word separation. Yeah, well, you're using it wrong. I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's not what that word is, guys. Everybody in the twin flame community thinks it means like it's a stage that you got to go through or something. No. And I even made a video about this, by the way. I'm not going to go too deep into that here. But the words union, separation, and detaching, because like detaching, like what the hell is that, right? Like what are we talking about? Right, I made a video about that. Those are Zen terms. Those terms come out of transcendentalism, not twin flames. Somebody who met their twin flame, and I think this happened like long before the internet, somebody who was on a twin flame journey, they went, oh, I get it, right? They had a big aha moment. They said, this is just transcendentalism. And they took the Zen teachings and superimposed them over the twin flame journey. And correctly so. But what happened is, here comes the internet, and the internet gets a hold of the teachings and starts mixing it all up and misinterpreting it and playing a big game of telephone. Do you remember that game? When you were a kid and the teacher sat you in a circle? All the kids in a circle? And the teacher, she would tell one kid like a one-sentence story, whisper it into his ear, and then each kid would pass the story around the circle, and it's like 30 kids. And by the time it gets back to the teacher, it's something completely different, right? That's what the internet has done with the true twin flame teachings. So if you want to watch my video about what those words really mean, I'll link it down in the description box for you. Go check it out, guys. Go watch that video next. The true twin flame teachings are right under your nose, guys. They're right here, man. They are on the internet. You can see whoever figured this out. I don't know who it was. Like I said, I think it was before the internet, whoever it was. But whoever it was, their fingerprints are all over the twin flame community. It's just everybody's monkey see, monkey do. They're misusing those words. They think union and separation is like the relationship status with your twin flame. But why? Like, why not just say we broke up or something like everybody else does? Why do we have to say separation? And it's this stage that we're in. No, guys. Separation is a description for the ego mind. Body, mind, soul. The soul is union. It's unity consciousness. And detaching is what happens when you transcend, transcendentalism, transcend identification as the mind. You no longer derive your sense of self from the mind, right? You remember that you are consciousness. You are at one with everything. It's unity, and you feel it. You feel it. It's experienced. You don't think your way there. You don't understand. You have this knowing. And that's one of the signs, too, that your twin flame is awakening, remember? So we're going to come back to that. There's more video to go. Well, anyway, guys, this is why your twin flame is running. The mind is duality. The mind is separation. You focus on your twin flame. They don't focus on you. It's duality, right? You focus on them. They don't focus on you. You push, they pull. Real simple. Real simple, guys. That's why your twin flame runs, because there's this polarization at the mental level with your twin flame. It's separation, it's polarization. So if you are trying to figure out what to do about them, they're gone. And if you feel like eros, if you feel like romantic love, that causes them to run too. Twin flame love is called agape, and it's non-dual. So it's not eros, where it's the romantic love. Twin flame love is the love of soul. So the soul is agape. It's spiritual, and it's like inner peace. It's not really directed at them. It's not directed outward. You just feel good all the time. You're just at peace. And that's when your twin flame stops running. That's when they won't leave your side. When that makes sense, they are your soul, guys. And all I'm explaining to you are well-known spiritual teachings. True spiritualism, genuine spiritualism, not the pop culture stuff on the internet with all the healing and the crystals and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that stuff is bad. That has its place. That's just not what this is, guys. This is genuine spiritualism. This is non-duality, transcendentalism. You are consciousness, right? That's what this is. That's what this is. Now, let's go back to this. So, this is you, and this is your twin flame. And I'm just using this as an example. You could have been born after your twin flame, or you guys could have been born close together. So don't take these years I'm using, the birth years, literally. These are just examples. Although about 50% of you report an age gap. I've taken polls, P-O-L-L. I've taken polls, and it's usually about 50% of people say that there is an age gap. Well, this explains why, guys. The soul can incarnate wherever it wants. You can reincarnate wherever you want to. Okay? This is why there is the polarization between you and your twin flame. Consciousness is growing with each life lived. And so here you are more energetic. There is more energy. You have more energy. You have more consciousness than your twin flame. And because you are more energetic, you are the positive polarity. And this isn't complicated. If you think this sounds complicated, just watch the video again. This is actually very simple science. This is the simplest kind of science that there is. And this is real science. And most of the people that I show this to, they don't have a problem with it, right? They don't. So if you're struggling with this, I don't know, just leave a comment down below and I'll try to help you. Or maybe somebody else can help you to understand. But this is twin flames, guys. And again, this is not far-fetched. This is actually the most down-to-earth, realistic answer there is as to what twin flames are. Reincarnation is widely accepted, you guys. Everybody already knows about this. And so why are we making stuff up about twin flames, right? Well, you look on the internet and they go, well, nobody knows what it is. Oh, BS. It's not magic, dude. Again, they have scientific institutions that study prayer and telepathy and stuff. Why? Because people know that's not magic. There's got to be an answer. There's got to be a mechanism. And there is. They're actually proving this stuff now, guys. Prayer and telepathy and reincarnation. So reincarnation does not prove twin flames. Twin flames prove reincarnation, though. Right? Reincarnation is widely accepted. Widely accepted. So what we're saying here is your twin flame is your past life, but not in time. Remember, this is not how reincarnation works. This here, it does not have to go in linear order. Now, you in the first person, you experience time in a linear fashion in the first person. That is true. However, time itself is not linear. And this is exactly what Albert Einstein figured out. And they've proven it. They've proven that what he said was true. They've proven it. Time is malleable. And if any of you have ever seen the movie Interstellar, that is how time works. Physicists watched that movie and they were like, yeah, that is how that would work. That is how time works, right? And that sounds kind of weird, but that's really how it works, guys. So when you see something that your twin flame does, all you're doing is watching a replay of things that you did in one of your past lives. Wow. Yeah, wow. That is what this is. And again, this is not far-fetched, guys. And I don't think I have to convince you. I think most of you, I already put this on Facebook about a month ago and everybody was like, oh, yes, that makes so much sense. But there was like one or two people that were like, yeah, that's too far-fetched. No, it's not far-fetched. Reincarnation is widely accepted, everybody. And this is the only realistic answer to explain twin flames. Twin flames is not magic, guys. Now, what does the internet say about twin flames? Well, the internet says, oh, the soul split in two. Well, where did you get that from? Oh, Plato. Okay, well, let's go read what Plato was talking about, because he wasn't talking about twin flames, guys. What that comes from is a story that Plato wrote called Symposium. You can go on Google and go read Symposium. Go read it. And what he describes is, oh, they love each other so much and they never want to be apart from each other. They always have to be by each other's side. And it's just always like that. And they just always love each other so much. And Yeah. You know what he didn't talk about, Plato? He did not talk about the obsessive thinking, the running and the chasing, your twin flame rejecting you, your twin flame going and being with somebody else behind your back. He didn't talk about this deep sense of meaninglessness that you feel. He didn't talk about crying yourself to sleep every night. He didn't talk about you're in a panic all the fucking time and you're desperate and you don't know what to do. And this whole situation with your twin flame is the most desperate situation you've ever been in your life. He also didn't talk about seeing fucking repeating number patterns everywhere all the time. Oh my God, 1111, 444, 333, 222, 1111 again, 144, 1111 again. Why am I seeing 1111 so much? He didn't talk about having a spiritual awakening as a result of this. He didn't talk about having a Kundalini activation. These are all things that you are or will experience. If you met your twin flame and you haven't experienced those things yet, you will. He didn't talk about any of that stuff. He said it's yummy and lovely and romantic. So, what did Plato do? He wrote a nice romantic story about soulmates. Which, by the way, there's technically no such thing as soulmates, because soulmates is subjective. Okay, soulmates is, even if you guys have been together over 10 or 20 lifetimes, you and this person that you're calling soulmate, at some point 20 lifetimes ago, you guys met for the first time and you chose each other. And that's fine. That's not a problem. I'm not saying there's a problem with that. It's just, that's what that is. That's soulmates. It's subjective. You pick them, right? And they pick you and you guys are getting along or not, right? But that could be a lover. It could be a family member, right? It could be a friend. It could be a pet. Just soulmates, right? Twin flames, on the other hand, is not subjective. It's objective because your twin flame is you. That's objective. You are you. Everybody else is just everybody else. That's objective. Your twin flame is you, and they are your previous incarnation. Now, that's Twin Flames 101. That's a crash course on what twin flames are. Again, how can we tell that this is what's going on? Well, again, because everybody agrees that with reincarnation, it's the evolution of consciousness. Consciousness keeps increasing every single time you live another incarnation. Nobody debates that. No one. Nobody debates that. Okay, well, and again, the first thing that I ever noticed about twin flames was this. And this is what I teach my students to do. My paid coaching students, I teach them to take all of your mental, emotional, and metaphysical focus off your twin flame. And when you do that, guess who comes back? Guess who starts hitting you up right away? The minute you do that. And they can have you blocked. That happens all the time, you guys. You don't even have to talk to them. They could have you straight up blocked. No way to get a hold of them. You do this energetic work and boom, they unblock you. Within minutes or days, usually. Now that we're clear about what a twin flame is, let's talk about these signs. Let's talk about, is divine masculine awakening? Is this past life that you lived, again, your twin flame, when you see something they do, you're literally watching a replay of things you did in the first person. That is, what, good or bad, we're not talking about that. Maybe your twin flame did some mean things. Well, it happens. I mean, we've all lived thousands of incarnations, tens of thousands probably, over thousands of years, right? We've all been a sinner and a saint. Every single one of us. You could have killed somebody in cold blood in one of your past lives. I mean, who knows? You could have been a thief. And then in other lives, maybe further along, you were a good person, right? I mean, it happens. It's Earth. It's the human experience, right? That's just kind of the way it is, you know? Welcome to Earth, you know? You've been a good guy and a bad guy, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. Is your twin flame, and again, no, they're not going to be a future incarnation. Some people ask me that. No, they're not going to be a future incarnation. No, because if they were a future incarnation, then you would be the runner. You would be the one pulling away if they were a future reincarnation, because that would put you back here. You would be the negative polarity, right? And again, it's not gender. If you're going, but Kurt, I thought the masculine energy was positive. Right, yeah, I know about that spiritual teaching too. I've heard about that also, and that's not what I'm talking about. Divine masculine and divine feminine are invalid. Those don't apply. Everybody's just calling it that. Again, it's just semantics, right? When it comes to twin flames, it's energy. It's energy, guys. Just delete the gender labels like you never even heard them ever, okay? The gender labels, they're not all bad. Divine feminine and divine masculine, they're not all bad, but all they're really doing is pointing you at this underlying teaching about duality. There's a deeper underlying teaching, and it's called duality. DMDF, light, dark, plus, minus, good, bad, here, there, right? Alpha, omega, okay. So, does your divine masculine awaken? Well, probably not. And I've personally coached 7,000 coaching students. You know what does happen is they just want to be with you really bad. And if you want to call that awakened, fine. They stop rejecting you. They stop being mean to you. It could be that you used to be a narcissist 50 lifetimes ago. I mean, it could have been 50 lifetimes ago. I don't know how many lives there are between the two of you. I don't know that yet. And I'm not sure how we would ever figure that out. But we do know this. Again, reincarnation doesn't prove twin flames. But twin flames does prove reincarnation. How about that? And guys, I'm telling you, I am in the process of doing a scientific research study right now on twin flames. This is a real phenomenon. Simultaneous incarnations of the same soul. That's what this is. Two incarnations of the same soul. And I'm going to write a book about it. And I'm even going to open sometime later this year, I'm going to have available for you a twin flame test that you can take online to figure out if this is your twin flame. Although, just go to my True Twin Flame Teachings playlist. There's a playlist on this YouTube channel called The True Twin Flame Teachings, and just go watch the first video, and that'll help you figure that out on your own. Usually no. The answer is almost no. That's not part and parcel to this journey that your twin flame has to awaken. That's not necessarily true. It is not, but it doesn't need to. What you really want is for them to stop running, right? And they do. They just want to be with you all the time. And that's all. They don't have a spiritual awakening. You do, which is why there's those 3 signs that we talked about, right? So you haven't given them a thought for a long time. You have this knowing that they're coming back, right? You're having a greater spiritual awakening, right? Those signs are your signs. And when you're getting those signs, you know it's getting close to when your twin flame is going to come back. And this knowing, you can't explain it conceptually. It's just this knowing. You feel it. It's like deja vu or something where you can't explain it. I just know, right? Yeah, that's when it's getting close, you guys, to they're going to be coming back soon. Or you're just not even really focused on them. You haven't thought about them in a long time. You don't, right? And anyway, you're having this greater expansion of consciousness. You're starting to realize that there's more going on here and that I am this infinite being. You know what I mean? Those signs do happen to you. You do awaken, but they don't have to awaken at all. And if they do, that's great. But again, that's not, it's not intrinsic to all twin flames. It's like, well, what are the odds that your twin flame is a plumber, right? What are the odds that your twin flame is already kind of a spiritual person? How many different personality types are there in the world? Well, there's lots, but that's not what it is, guys. That's not, it doesn't apply to all twin flames. It's just the energy, you guys. It's just the energy. And that's fine. I mean, like I said, what you really want is for them to be with you, right? Right. That's the good stuff. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week.